I was just talking to my husband, Jonathan, today, who's the co-founder here at Musea Center for Intentional Creativity, and saying that my autobiography should be called Outlaw. And that's because I was raised in a very alternative environment with all sorts of interesting activities amongst almost all the members of my family. I was one of the more conservative members, if you can believe that. I have a wild streak, to be sure. But what I learned from all the members of my creative family, who definitely rode the edge of the outlaw, is we're not going to just stand for the way things are turning out. We're not going to just believe the way everything is presented. We're going to buck the system. We're going to challenge conceptions of the man. We're going to fight for rights, human rights, animal rights, earth rights. We're going to march for what matters to us. And all of that is predicated on one thing, which many of us were never educated in, which is how to shape your own consciousness. And as my family members shaped their own consciousness, they became rebels. It's true. They didn't want to do things the way that it was set out to do. My father, Greg, did not want to fight in Vietnam for something he didn't believe in. My mother, Karen, did not want to work at a corporate job. She wanted to make her own business. My grandmother, Eden, had so many skills as a medicine woman and an herbalist. She didn't want to do the traditional job. She became a carpenter and a seamstress. She made our clothes. My Aunt Janet became a Tai Chi Sifu, becoming a master in the martial arts and training the girls in our family to defend ourselves from the time I can remember. My mentor, mother, Sue Hoy Sellers, always an independent, made her living illustrating textbooks and paintings. As I look back across the whole history of my family, and even now what my cousin Bridget is doing with an independent-based charter Montessori school, there's so many things that I got to witness growing up that were edgy, that were not of the norm, and that actually stood for something different than what was being presented to us. And that rubbed off on me. But what I realized is that if we can't think for ourselves, if we don't realize that we have the capacity to actually shape how our brain and heart and body function, if we aren't aware that we have choice in how we respond and relate to things, then we're going to mostly just fall for the storyline that has been fed to us. But that's not what we're into around here. Here, we're interested in you discovering your own storyline. But you're not alone, because all of us will be doing it along with you. We may be outlaws, revolutionaries, artists, musicians, dancers, magicians, and creatives. But here at least you're going to hear some real talk, some images that are inspired by someone's internal soul, and the chance, the opportunity to weave a new mythology, not in the isolation of one's own studio alone, but actually in the collective studios, what we call the musea, the archaic plural of museum. And we say wherever intentional creativity is practiced, that's a musea. And that is part of our rebellion. That is part of our revolution. And we want to invite you to come and bring your own edge-walking ideas. And let's see what kind of really good trouble we can get into together.